5 on your side at 10 starts now.
We were slightly warmer today with highs in the mid-80s across the region. We've got a cold front to our north, though. It's arriving in time for the weekend. I've got your latest forecast coming up.
RECA roadblocks.
We've identified several barriers.
The support systems now in place to help St. Louisans sickened by nuclear waste. Our top story, the St. Louis sheriff indicted.
For whatever reason, thought he was above the law.
The shocking standoff inside the city jail now leading to a federal charge.
This is just the latest claim where actual evidence will free him.
5 on your side starts now with breaking news.
Right now, St. Louis firefighters battling a 2-alarm fire in the Tower Grove South neighborhood. This is video from about an hour ago at a mixed-use building near the intersection of Gravois and Phillips. Firefighters believe the fire broke out in a business on the first floor. No one was in the upstairs apartments at the time, so no injuries were reported. The cause remains under investigation. Back to our other top story. Tonight, St. Louis Sheriff Alfred Montgomery is facing a misdemeanor count, which could send him to prison for up to a year. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush. Kelly Jackson has the night off. This all stems from an incident back in February when the former jail commissioner was put into handcuffs. 5 on your side's Laura Barcheski is live downtown with reaction from the sheriff's attorney. Laura.
Mike, Sheriff Alfred Montgomery's attorney is confident the evidence will free him and maintains he did nothing wrong. However, the commissioner's attorney thinks his actions were outrageous.
On Wednesday, a grand jury moved to indict St. Louis Sheriff Alfred Montgomery on a misdemeanor civil rights charge. He walked out of the federal courthouse downtown after his court appearance Thursday with his attorney, Justin Gelfand.
We intend to meet this one charge head on. He maintains his innocence. We believe that the evidence will free him, and we look forward to representing him in this case.
Gelfand didn't elaborate on what the evidence was. U.S. attorneys say on February 14th, Montgomery unlawfully restrained and detained acting jail commissioner Tammy Ross while acting under color of the law, meaning he was acting with the appearance of legal authority. Ross's attorney, Joe Neal, says Montgomery was out of line when he asked Ross to interview a detainee who made a sexual misconduct complaint against one of his deputies.
She went out to the city consul's office and wanted to get a legal opinion as to whether or not Montgomery could talk to him, and she told him no, and yet he just didn't get the answer he wanted to hear, so he went and decided to take the law into his own hands.
Neal says the whole incident was embarrassing for Ross. She was at work when Montgomery went to court Thursday.
I texted her, and she's certainly thankful that the indictment did come down, and I'm sure she's gratified that the U.S. Attorney's Office saw fit to go forward with the case.
Montgomery's attorney says they believe he can still maintain his job as sheriff, but the court says he has to give up his guns.
The sheriff is going to comply with a court order that, at least as of this moment, prohibits him from possessing any weapons on his person or in his possession. We intend to raise that because we do believe that that violates his civil rights.
Do you think he should be in office?
No. He, for whatever reason, thought he was above the law, or that he is the law, and he's not.
Now, if Montgomery's found guilty, he could face up to a year in prison, a $1,000 fine, or both. He's also facing a civil case being brought by Ross after the incident, and the sheriff is scheduled to be in state court tomorrow in the fight against the attorney general to keep his job. Reporting live downtown, Laura Barcheski, 5 on your side.
Just before this morning's indictment came down, the sheriff celebrated a legal win. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey dropped the nepotism charge in the case to remove the sheriff from office. The move came one day after Montgomery filed a motion with DNA evidence showing he didn't violate Missouri's constitutional ban on nepotism when he hired Malik Taylor. Bailey claimed Taylor was Montgomery's half-brother. Despite the dismissal, the broader case seeking Montgomery's removal continues. Another indicted public official entered a not guilty plea today. St. Louis County Executive Sam Page waived his arraignment on charges he misused public funds on a campaign mailer. A grand jury indicted him last month on 4 charges surrounding a county-mailed postcard that prosecutors say was advocating against Proposition B. The measure on the April ballot ultimately failed. The next hearing on this case is set for September 23rd. Tonight, a Bethalto man wanted for the murder of his girlfriend is in police custody after 2 years on the run. Within the last 4 hours, the Sangamon County State's Attorney announced Gabriel Calixto was arrested in Mexico. He's accused in the July 2023 stabbing death of Emma Schaefer in Springfield. Calixto was previously convicted for a 2018 charge of kidnapping. His sentence was later vacated. He was also arrested in 2021 for illegally entering the country. Calixto is now awaiting extradition back to the U.S. Tonight, a father's grief on full display 1 day after his young son was killed in the latest mass shooting.
Yesterday, a coward decided to take our 8-year-old son Fletcher away from us.
8-year-old Fletcher Merkel was one of 2 children who died when a gunman opened fire at a Catholic school mass in Minneapolis. 10-year-old Harper Moisky was also killed. New cell phone video shows the horror inside Annunciation Catholic Church as students, teachers, and parents ran for their lives. The congregation had just finished singing when the gunfire started.
I saw my teacher get on the floor. She kind of like motioned me to get on the floor, so I just jumped down. And then my buddy kind of grabbed my hand, and then we kind of just ran out with my teacher.
15 other children between the ages of 6 to 15 were injured. 1 girl remains in critical condition tonight. 3 adults were also hurt. The alleged shooter died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The FBI is investigating the shooting as domestic terrorism and a hate crime against Catholics. Tonight, a Chesterfield man accused of hitting a 9-year-old boy with his car and then driving off is facing multiple charges, including a DWI. Police say 35-year-old Dante DeVito had drugs in his system when he tried to pass a school bus on Shetler Road and hit a child in the crosswalk. DeVito was arrested nearby. The Parkway School District confirms the child was a student at Claymont Elementary. School officials tell us he's expected to make a full recovery. The full scope of the damage from Monday's house explosion in North St. Louis County is starting to come into focus. The damage extends to the foundations and supporting structures of nearby homes. Homeowners are working with their insurance companies, and one tells us she expects to be out of her home for at least a year and a half.
And it's been 4 days. I don't know how I'll ever be able to go back in there, what I call my room. And I miss my room. I want to be in my room. But if I would be able to function in it, I'm not going to be able to tell you that.
There has been an overwhelming amount of donations for these residents. So many, the Blackjack Fire Department is unable to accept any more right now. Faith leaders are being urged tonight to unite and strengthen their role in local disaster response. The call comes as FEMA budget cuts have local leaders questioning federal support for our area following the devastating May 16th tornado. Our Brent Solomon introduces us to a North County pastor issuing a call to action.
We're to get out of the 4 walls and be a light.
It is why Pastor Trevor Barnes of the Northside Seventh-day Adventist Church is getting out into the tornado zone, offering a listening ear, praying, dropping off resources.
Some people, frankly, need shelter, so we're giving tents away. Oftentimes, when there are disasters, clergy are on the front lines. And I think a lot of times it's assumed that we know what to do, but we want to be able to help clergy have the tools to know what to do when there's a disaster.
The church and community stakeholders now organizing this, an emergency preparedness response, just for faith leaders Friday morning, to learn how to tap into local government resources, relief organizations, and state partners whenever disaster strikes.
Whether you're a pastor, priest, rabbi, whatever denomination or faith tradition that you come from.
It comes the same week 200 FEMA employees wrote an open letter criticizing the Trump administration's disaster response capability. The president has said states and local governments should play a bigger role. This week, St. Louis Board of Aldermen President Megan Green addressed that.
What they ended up doing is cutting 2,500 personnel from FEMA. And so in the past, cities have been able to rely on FEMA to come in and provide a lot of support. We have not had that same experience.
If the trend is going where it seems to be going, where federal funds are being cut off, then it is going to be more necessary for the local grassroots entities to be active in the community.
So tomorrow's free training for faith leaders will happen from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. at the Northside Seventh-day Adventist Church on Lucas and Hunt Road.
A big birthday bash at Union Station tonight. The St. Louis landmark celebrated 40 years since it reopened as a tourist destination. The historic train station reopened as a hotel and mall back in 1985. Now it's home to the St. Louis Aquarium, and the Regional Arts Commission hosted the celebration.
And we've been through a lot over 40 years, even in the last 5 years with COVID, which had the potential to really decimate this sector. But because of public investment in arts and culture organizations and artists, we get to celebrate 40 years of making St. Louis beautiful, fun, and safe.
And tonight's celebration comes just hours after a ribbon-cutting ceremony was held for 3 new carnival rides at Union Station. They include a new pirate ship themed ride called the Flying Lewis, the Locomotion roller coaster, and the Waves Swing. All sit in the shadow of the giant St. Louis wheel. New carnival-style games have also been added. St. Louis is sickened by buried radioactive waste.
It's actually 25 pages.
Tonight, the growing help for those seeking damages from the federal government. Thursday night kickoff in the Show Me State from Mizzou to Missouri high schools. The highlights later in sports.
We'll be slightly warmer once again tomorrow, but as we round out the work week, heading on into the weekend, changes arrive. I've got your latest forecast coming up next.
Applications are officially open for survivors impacted by radioactive waste in the St. Louis region. Tonight, our Justina Cornell sits down with a former state representative. She's just one of many who fears she's been exposed.
So this is the first page of the application.
It's more than filling out a form.
It's actually 25 pages.
These pages are a reminder of the pain.
Losing my mom at 21, being robbed of so many moments of getting married, having my first child, that's not the life that I want for my daughter.
In the hands of former Missouri State Representative Dr. Chantel Jones is a 24-page application for the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act known as RECA. She's applying for herself and her mom.
To see RECA finally pass in my lifetime is and has been a goal of mine.
The RECA compensation is for anyone who lived, worked, or attended school in 21 zip codes and developed certain cancers or diseases due to radiation exposure from the making of the atomic bomb in St. Louis. Chantel and her family lived in 4 of the 21 impacted zip codes.
My mother and my aunt passed away from breast cancer. My grandfather, pancreatic and prostate cancer. My aunt's 2 daughters are breast cancer survivors. My sister tested positive for the BRCA1 gene. My cousin passed away from a rare kidney disease at the age of 36. I had a cousin at the age of 5 diagnosed with a brain tumor, and so it's been very extensive in my family.
Chantel was also diagnosed with breast cancer at the age of 31.
Stage 0 to 1 ductal carcinoma. I endured 16 rounds of chemotherapy. I did not have to do radiation, and then 13 years later, it came back again for the second time.
And I am on my way.
We always struggle with the fact of it ever coming back again, and I try to push it out of my mind, and so that's where community comes. Community serving comes from, is to serve my community while I have time.
That time includes offering a helping hand.
We've received an increased amount of emails with people expressing how they've lost their parents, and they just don't even know where to start to even look to find the records so that they can complete the application.
She hopes to guide them in the right direction, and she's not alone. The advocacy group Just Moms STL helps applicants find what matters most.
When they're requesting these documents, they're getting a stack, right? And they only really need one thing. The one thing that is certified that shows that you either lived, worked, or went to school in the zip code or the medical document that states you had this cancer.
For the moms who fought for cleanup and compensation, the two won't be able to apply themselves.
Karen Nickel and I fought for this program, and we're not even eligible. However, it's the list you don't ever want to go on. These primary cancers are serious. They are the worst of the worst.
I do have plenty of illnesses, but I'm grateful that I don't have those cancers. So a lot of this work has been on behalf of other people, and I'm very excited and happy that there's compensation for those that need it.
The rally behind Rika only grows.
Everybody is stepping up to spread the message.
And Chantel is a part of that campaign push. With her organization, Pink Angels Foundation, she's opening a Rika Hub in October to be a resource.
We've identified several barriers, Wi-Fi barriers, or access to records, access to medical records from entities or hospitals that have closed.
Until then, Chantel continues filling out forms, a form that represents family.
Does it solve anything or does it bring any of our loved ones back? Absolutely not. But this is a proof, this is a testament that they hear us, and they hear us loud and clear.
Justina Cornell, 5 on your side.
The St. Louis County Library has created an online Rika resource hub with instructions on how to obtain documents. For more details on how to get help, go to the As Seen on TV section on KSDK.com. You can also text the word Rika to 314-425-5355 and we'll send a link to your phone. All right, meteorologist Lance Blocker is here with the weather impact forecast and that all-important holiday weekend forecast, Lance.
Yeah, Mike, we've got great weather ahead for us. It's been a nice stretch of weather for us here over the past few weeks, and we're going to continue that trend on into the weekend. So as you take a look here from St. Charles, looking good. Everybody enjoying a nice evening. I saw a lot of very happy Missouri fans driving along, still waving out the windows, happy and enjoying life. And the cool weather, too, the nice weather that we've got outside. A few clouds roll through the region tonight, but not the rain-making variety. Will stay dry. Tomorrow, slightly warmer. Today's highs were in the mid-80s, maybe 1 or 2 degrees warmer tomorrow, so not much of a change. As we look towards this weekend, though, some changes back in the forecast for us as we move through Saturday, Sunday, and Monday with highs in the low 80s after the last couple of days in the mid-80s. That's thanks to that cold front off to the northwest or northeast of us. That's what we call a backdoor cold front. Normally, we see cold fronts move in from west to east. This one's moving in from north to south here, and it's going to bring not much in the way of rain, but it will bring some cooler, drier weather. And honestly, we need some rain. This was last week's drought monitor right here. Watch as I press next on this. It fills in somewhat. There it goes. All right, so we can see that more drought, more abnormally dry conditions moving through the region. You probably noticed that. It's certainly been drier over the past week or so. Tomorrow morning, as you head out, temperatures will be in the upper 50s to lower 60s. As we move through the daytime hours, note we go from sunny skies to a few clouds to then mostly cloudy skies by the end of the afternoon, or by the start of the afternoon, that is. I wouldn't be surprised to see 1 or 2 locations maybe get a light shower or a brief period of drizzle. Nothing too widespread. To be honest, I'm leaving it out of the forecast because it's going to impact so few areas, maybe less than a 10% chance of rain. So most of us, again, dry, just slightly warmer. But here comes that cold front Friday afternoon. By Saturday, we're only topping out in the mid-80s. We'll basically rinse and repeat for us on Saturday, Sunday, then Labor Day, Monday. A beautiful weekend ahead all across the area, so we'll stay dry all 3 days. Very confident with that, and temperatures are locked into the low 80s with the dry air in place as well. So it's going to be a great weekend to be outside and enjoy some of that. The next chance of rain, it holds off until the middle part of next week. We'll go Tuesday night, well, Wednesday night or Thursday morning. It's a very low chance of rain, but it's the only weather maker that's really moving through our region. We've got a very quiet stretch of weather ahead for us. In fact, let's go ahead and take a look at that in detail here. You can see the temperatures, the main story. They top out tomorrow in the mid-80s. We go back down a little bit, low 80s the next few days of the weekend. So it's in time for that. So we'll enjoy that stretch of nice weather. We briefly warm back up, and Mike, we're in the mid-70s after the next one.
There's nothing to complain about, Lance.
Not at all.
Thank you, sir. And Frank is next with sports.
Mike, the college football season opened up, and one Mizzou quarterback had a Brad Smith-like beginning to his career. We'll be right back.
And this coming Sunday, live from historic Grants Farm, our tradition continues. Join me and Kelly Jackson and Ann Allred and Rennie Knott and Scott Connell for this year's MDA Show of Strength. And all the money we raise helps people fighting neuromuscular diseases right here in the St. Louis area. The MDA Show of Strength, Sunday night at 8, right here on 5 on Your Side and 5+.
All spring and summer, Sam Horn and Bo Perbula have battled for the starting quarterback spot. And it was so close that Coach Drinkwitz said he needed tonight's game to make his decision. Well, the decision was actually made for him in the first quarter. Let's head to Faurot Field on a gorgeous night in Columbia. You don't get a second chance to make a first impression, and Bo Perbula was off the charts great. Opening drive, 49 yards to Marquise Johnson. So much for him being just a running quarterback. The competition for the QB spot and the decision for Coach Drink was done right here. First play of the season for Sam Horn, hit on the knee, had to be helped off the field. So sad for Sam, MRI tomorrow. In the meantime, Bo knows football. Granted, it's Central Arkansas, but look at the speed of this gazelle. 345 total yards and 4 touchdowns for Bo, including this touchdown pass to Brett Norfleet, the pride of Francis Howe. Mizzou smashes Central Arkansas 61-6, largest opening win for Mizzou since 1948. The coach on Bo.
You know, I thought his ability to extend plays, I thought that one big-time run was pretty headsy there, and then his ability to pull the ball, you know, on some zone read stuff was nice. But I mean, he threw the ball really well too, so it's good.
The Cardinals and Pirates concluded their 4-game series today, and Jordan Walker had a moment. He has not had enough of them this year, but he is only 23. He's 6'6", 250 pounds. I'm not giving up yet. Pitcher Sonny Gray doing a little gardening during the game, and in the third inning, Ivan Herrera doing a little hitting, a shot to the wall. Man, this guy can hit. Lars Nootbaar scores, and we are tied at 1. Miles Michaelis, up and down year, he was up today. 5 Ks, 4 hits, and 1 earned run. The Cardinals broke open the game in the 7th, and this has to feel so good for Jordan. Only his 5th homer of the year, 404 feet. The Cardinals split the series with a 4-1 victory.
I was looking at the heater. The sweeper kind of stayed up. Kind of really just threw my bat at it. I wasn't trying, to do too much right there. And I think that that's kind of what helped me, do my job.
You're hoping Jordan continues to take those type of steps in the right direction. He just missed one to left earlier, the one he skied to left, and then able to get that one, and that's a big swing.
The Matty Mock era has begun. The former Mizzou quarterback is now the coach at Principia High School, and they face Clayton Brentwood tonight at Missouri Baptist. That's Marco Tagle with the sack for Prin. Matty will develop quarterbacks just like his dad did with him. Tristan Kuhn with a rocket to Nehemiah Swanson. Prin leading late 44-21. Let's head to Ladue. Troy Buchanan High School paying a visit, and this is wild. Time running out in the first half. Hunter Humphrey is going to heave this football, and Chris Wegner is going to catch this football. Troy Buchanan wins big the final, 43-0. The SLU women's soccer team hosted Indiana. Second half action, and Audrey Smith will get the goal, and the Billikens win a big game against the Hoosiers, 1-0. The blockbuster trade of the year in the NFL has happened. The Green Bay Packers have acquired 4-time Pro Bowler Micah Parsons from the Cowboys. Dallas received a first-round pick in 2026 and 2027. Parsons agreed to a 4-year deal worth $180 million, making him the highest-paid non-quarterback in the NFL. And be sure to be with us Sunday night for Sports Plus. NASCAR conversation with Curtis Francois, the owner of the raceway. We go one-on-one with the Hall of Famer Gary Player, and we delve into the legend of Babe Ruth with his St. Louis connections with his grandson. We'll take a break, and we're coming right back after this.
This weekend, Americans will celebrate Labor Day with parades, cookouts, and festivals. In 1894, Congress officially designated the first Monday in September as a federal holiday to honor American workers and to advocate for better benefits and working conditions. In 2023, 62% of Americans left PTO days on the table, totaling $65 billion in lost benefits. You could start an early retirement this weekend. Saturday's Powerball jackpot has grown to $950 million. The lump sum would be $429 million. It's the 6th largest prize in the game's history. There's been no jackpot winner since May 31st. And the Cape Crusader helps nab a burglar in Florida. A man wearing Batman pajamas jumped out of bed when his bat signal, or in this case his wife's phone, alerted them to a suspicious person lurking outside. He found the bad guy in his neighbor's garage and was able to hold him off until police arrived to take the villain off to jail. And Lance has one final check of the weather impact forecast.
Yeah, we've got great weather. I mean, it's been a nice night tonight. The last few weeks have been that way as well. Check it out right here. A little bit of a roller coaster ride, but it's not bad. I mean, we're talking low to mid 80s this time of year. Average high 87. We'll take it.
And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+. And don't forget to start your day with Today in St. Louis. That begins at 5 a.m. And have a great and safe tomorrow.